put up another video on what not to do. Should be a warning on this video, but it could be funny. We'll see what happens. So I'm going to attempt to remove the dents out of the fuel tanks. This one's been pushed in the bottom, so I'm not terribly worried if it doesn't work. The other one's, yeah, a bit more structural on the side, so I thought I'll start on this one first. If it goes wrong, yeah, lesson learned. I do have the option that if this splits the tank, yeah, got a rally just across the road, you can weld aluminium in that, so I do have a backup plan. I've done a lot of reading about it. Yeah, make tools up with wheels on them and roll them inside the tank, and it's all interesting stuff. So I'm going to try the water treatment. So I'm filling it with water currently. I've got a regulator on there, going to put 20 pounds, no more than 30 in the tank, and try tapping around where it's dented and see what happens. It's going to be interesting. So I'll just, if I can, I'll show you the dent. I've got it on the forklift here, so I can lift it up. I realise, I mean, if there's 400 litres in there, there's yeah, sort of 350 kilos, 400 kilos. I'm not sure what the tank holds. There's nothing written on this one, but yeah, I might show you when I lift it up. But yeah, it's been pushed in underneath. It's had a repair, but if I can get something to come out, it'll be interesting. Got to try. Yeah, there's many options of what we can do, I suppose. Cut the tanks and do all sorts of weird and wonderful things, but we'll try this first. Not going to cost anything. Yeah, I'm just filling it with water now. Got the cap right at the top, so hopefully you don't get any air in there. Got the regulator on there. I've plumbed the tank up with the suction and return line. I just put a loop in it. The cap might leak like mad, but if I can maintain that 20 to 30 pound in there, I've got multiple compressors in there, I can run the big one. It'll keep up. It's 185 CFM, so I don't think we'll have an issue there. Anyway, we'll, yeah, have a go. Alright, I'll just show you what I've been doing here. Try and show you the gauge. So roughly, I don't know how true the gauge is, I had to fix it before I started. 30 pound in there, in the tank. She's dead full of water. There's a pressure relief valve on the fuel cap. So I got a big hunk of steel sitting on that. It's leaking, but it's holding it there. It is impressive what happens. I didn't set the camera up to film it as such, but the bottom of the tank was really stoved in, and yeah, now I've got it. I'm really happy with it, eh? It's come right out. You see the little pinhole just there. Yeah, yeah. I have to mark that tiny wee little pinhole in the patch. Mind you, with no pressure in there, it'll probably never leak. One more dent here to go. A bit hard to get at because it's sitting on the forks of the forklift. But no, yeah, really impressed how that works. Be interesting to have an old tank one day and just, yeah, remotely wind it up and see what they'll go to before they give up. As I say, I got 30 in there, and I wouldn't want to go much more than that. You can hear it. Yeah, if you just tap with the around the dent, sit that down. I've got a bigger hammer here with the fabric and the copper, so I've got a little one here, and my fabric end's falling out, but the copper end, yeah, you can just tap that. Oop, safety valve's gonna come off. Just the way that bit of steel's sitting on there, it's not quite right. Need to hold it down. Yeah, you just tap around that dent. It's a two-hand operation, this. And like that one there, I may not get that all out because it's on the joint of the tank, but it's on the very bottom anyway, so I'm not stressed about that. But you know, I'd say it's 50% what you get out of it. It's depends what sort of finish you want on your tank, I suppose, but considering how this one started, I'm pretty happy with it. Another new day. I'm going to have attempt number 2 at this tank I did. It's a nice sunny day here. There's rain coming for the next 3 or 4 days, so I'll get outside and do this. Don't really want to do it in the workshop in case we have an explosion. So I've refilled the tank with water. I'll just show you. So yeah, there was my setup. I've seen that in the previous clip possibly. And one of my problems I was having was, sorry the sun's a bit bright here today, it's got a pressure relief valve in the cap here. Can't really show it, but I'll put my finger on it here. There. So I think about like 15 pound or so that starts to push up. There's a spring unit, or I'd say, in there or something. But anyway, so I mucked around. I had a big plate of steel on it, but that was a problem. If it wasn't sitting flat, it would obviously fall off and then dump its pressure and make a big mess everywhere. So my next attempt's going to be, because I need to roll the tank over and work on part of it down the bottom, which I couldn't get at, it was on the forks. I'm going to put this clamp on here once I've got it on the back on the tank. I'm going to put this bolt here and just wind it out. I've got a washer here as well to space it, to hold that down if all that will stay on there. May not work, we've got to try. Right, I'm going to put you down and I'll set this up. Okay, I've put my clamp system on there, hold the valve in on the cap. Not sure how true my gauge is. I have to try and fix it, it's damaged. I would say it's about 20 psi in the tank. You can just hear it settling down. The cap's leaking a little bit, not much. So yeah, my main goal is I just want to have a bit of an experimental go at this down here. It's underneath, so I'm not worried if something goes wrong. Because my main, well, long-term goal for the tanks is, my thoughts are, I want to sand them, and I'll use the word bondo, but yeah, put a filler in on the dents that I can't fix, and I want to paint the tanks. That's what I want to do, so I'll get a good finish on them. In the comments, appreciate it. Guy spent quite a bit of time and wrote yeah, how they stainless wrap the tanks, and yes, I had thought about doing a wrap, but not with stainless, so it's really interesting. I haven't flagged the idea yet. It could happen if I have a big failure. And the other thing possible is, and I talked about it in the comments with him, I got the opportunity to cut off where this cap is real carefully around here. We could open the tank up in the top there and then work from it on the inside. The other one's going to be the bad one. This is just, yeah, this one wasn't too bad. The bottom was really pushed in on it. I'm impressed how I got it out with the last attempt at it. So anyway, I'll have a bit of a play with this. And the other thing I might do is I might try and heat it just a little bit, just to warm the aluminium. If it makes a difference, I don't know. I know they talked about using just a very small flame. You just heat around the outer edge of the dent, which I understand why. It just softens that and allows it to move. But yeah, a bit of warmth in it might be right. It's full of water, so no issue of explosions. So anyway, we'll just have a bit of a play. I'll give a bit of an overview on what my thoughts are. Camera probably doesn't pick this up very good. That there is still, it's still dented. It's right on the very bottom, so never going to see it. I'm pretty happy with it. I mean, we can fill that, work with it, but not going to worry, I don't think, with it being on the bottom. I mean, the tank's had a, I think the other one's got another plug in here, so this one's been hit and been pulled out. As I say, this was badly pushed in, this tank, so I'm pretty happy with it. This method obviously doesn't remove any severe dents like that, and this one here, you can see I've worked away at it. It's quite structural, that. Same again, it's on the bottom, so not worried about it. So I watched the gauge as I was heating, just to make sure we didn't have a build up of pressure. Yeah, I can't say whether the heat really works or not, because as soon as you put your hand on there and stop heating, it just, the water inside just steals the temperature straight away out of the tank, out of the aluminium. So it's probably not effective. I just thought I'd try it. Yeah, the little one here, this is on the top side, but we'll work with that. So yeah, there's my method, and yep, I'm happy with it. Holds pressure. My bolt's going to fall out there soon, that was holding the relief pressure cap down. So we'll empty this one and bring the other tank out. I just had to show you this. I was tipping the last of the water out of the tank, and I could hear this moving around in the bottom. It's like, yes, I know you can make them, but yeah, I found it. Don't know if the other tank's got one in the bottom. They're both missing it off the chain. So that's pretty cool. Put that back on. Yeah, to get the last of the water out, I know the camera won't, light's wrong for you. I just rocked the tank backwards and forwards. I can see in there with the sunlight, and yes, we've gone out the drains. It's pretty cool. I'll leave it out here in the sun. I'll make sure they're bone dry. Obviously they're going to sit for another year or so before they go back on the trucks, so there won't be any issues. Yeah, I just don't know what to do. Oh, that one there I couldn't get out. That one there I'll need to fix because it'll be visible, but I'll give you an overview on the other tank in a minute. I'm really pleased with it, eh? Considering how they started off. Well, that one, yeah, from a distance, the old half a mile viewing, it looks good. Really pleased. So this one here, I sort of need to give you an overview on it, but the sun's shining the wrong way, I think. Yeah, this side of the tank is quite heavily pushed in. I know that I'm not gonna get this out with my method I'm doing. I know panel beating wise is probably, I've seen how they spot weld those units on and then slide hammer and they pull and all that. I assume you can do that with aluminium. I have no idea, but yeah, with today's modern rules and that, you couldn't take this to town and ask someone to weld on it. They wouldn't even entertain the idea of it being in their facility. So I just work with what I've got, do what I can, and you know, I can't roll it over at the moment, but it's really pushed in on the bottom. I'll show that once I tip it over. See, it's hit something against the frame of the truck, pushing on the tank. Don't think I'll get warranty on that, but yeah, well, I'll try and film it a bit, and where we go at this one. This one could be an absolute disaster. Who knows? Got to try. Don't know if I've shown it before. I think I have. Here's my rear bumper unit, which is going to go on the truck. It's all been fabricated up, and the fifth wheel is sitting here. I think the fifth wheel's pretty new. It's got no wear marks on the top. It's obviously was fitted. All looks good, and around the doors are there. The aeroplanes never go away here with the airport. Yeah, part of our compliance will be that I'll have to fill out what they call a maintenance sheet for this fifth wheel, so they'll want to know what's been done to it. I will disassemble it for my own peace of mind, obviously. Go through, check it all, needs rebushing, that's what I'll do. Obviously blast all the subframe, because it's part of the certification for mounting. Make sure there's no cracks or anything in it and it's all compliant. The engineer will look at that. Yeah, one step at a time. I'm working on the frame, as you can tell, mostly at the moment. I just want to try and get the rails and the engine and all that pretty much as far as I can go, or want to go, until the weather really fails here and you can't work outside. So I'll concentrate on getting all that done, and then yeah, I'll just hit the cab once the rails are sort of, if I can get some blasting done and a little bit of painting done before the rain comes. It stays and just miserable day after day. Might have a good winter yet. I mean, it's the shortest day of the year. I think it was yesterday, I'm not sure. You can tell it's a pretty reasonable day here today. It's good. It's quite warm. We've still got grass growth. We've had a couple of light frosts, but we haven't had rain for a while, which is a bit unusual for us. For you people viewing this from overseas, winter wise, yeah, we have frosts, we freeze a little bit in the mornings and we warm up during the day. Pretty good here. We have had snow here. Sorry, the sunlight's bad. Yeah, it snows, but not like what you're used to seeing. You might get a snowfall once in 10 years or something like that. Then it's gone. Might come in the afternoon and it's gone in the morning. It's just an unusual thing. Or front will roll through and drop a little bit. We just get extremely wet. We have a lot of rain here. Well, I'm just filling this tank and we'll wait till it's full. I'll set it all up and do a bit of filming as we pressurize it and see how we go. I should have set the camera up on something so you could see it happening. So I put 20 pound in it. Obviously it takes a while to fill that volume with 20 pound, and you can hear the tank moving. And I'll try and come down here a little bit along the side. It's already pushed the side out, which was all pushed in, and it's just with 20 in it, and I haven't touched it with a hammer or anything. It's incredible what it does. Obviously I'm not going to get this big dent out on this corner in front of me here, but we'll have a go yet. So I just put 20 in it, just let it settle down, just let it find its thing, and then I'll slowly take it up. I'll admit it does make me nervous. It's not the safety side of things, it's just, yeah, wrecking the tank. But as somebody said, when they do go, they just a bit of a gurgle and yeah, gush of water, and that's it. So that's right. I don't know what it's done underneath. Well, I need to roll the tank over, work on the bottom, to put this sitting on the ground so it won't get you level. It won't come out while it's on the ground. It's got all the weight of the tank on it. So take it up just a little bit more. It's one of those things, it's just like, should I do it or shouldn't I? Ooh, see the tank move, let's push the bottom out. Yep, there it goes again. Yeah. I don't know how true my gauge is on there, as I said before. It's pretty old, that air regulator, or sorry, air pressure regulator with a dryer on it. The gauge was permanently stuck on like 10-20 pound, and I understand how gauges work. I fixed a couple of them, I'm no expert, but yeah, pulled it to pieces and put it back on 0. But I never calibrated it. It's just an indicator. Obviously when the tank goes bang, you back it off a little bit. Yeah, wow. Does work. I won't comment too much until I'm finished. We could have an explosion yet. We'll have a bit of a knocky knock and see what comes out of it. What are we up to on pressure? I'll check the technical gauge. Give it a flick. Yeah. Give it a little bit more. going up. Alright, here we are with the final conclusion of what I've done. Okay, this is the one I've just done, and it had the side swipe right along the whole tank. So I'm not sure what the camera picks up. Obviously I didn't get the very end bit out, the structural piece, but yeah, I didn't think that'd ever happen. I took the tank up to 40 pounds. You know, I wasn't confident to go any more than that. I'd say she'd let go somewhere. Pretty impressive. So the other one, yep, happy how that come out as well. I mean, if you're trying to make a show truck, you would do as the man commented on my channel, you'd stainless wrap them. That would make them really, you know, 100%, but it's okay. It's not a show truck. I'm going to keep the industrial look about it. I'll do a bit of research regarding filling the tanks. I noticed when I just stood it up, for some reason I still got a dent in the bottom there. I didn't hammer that. Yeah, I had a lot of pressure in there and it still didn't pop, so it's probably not going to come out. There's one in the very end of the tank down on the ground here. Never get that out either. You just got to admit defeat with some of it. But I'm happy. As my mate says, it's, they just leftover parts from Kenworth trucks. But he is a Volvo man, European man, likes Volvo, Scania. I like to see him do this with plastic stuff, because in my eyes they're a plastic truck. I know they're nice to drive, but I never admit that to him. I just call it the plastic truck to him. It upsets him. But yeah, nah, happy as. We'll keep moving forward with it all and see what happens next.